Hello everybody, how you doing? Welcome to ET Contact. My name is Sway. No, I'm not gonna be on camera today. I don't feel like dressing up or anything, and I'm not gonna appear on camera being shirtless. No, in reality, I just didn't feel like being on camera. But look, this is gonna be my final comment on this situation for a while. Not saying it's my final comment ever, but it will be my final comment for a while on this situation, on the Corey Goode, David Wilcock situation. I'm not going to make videos on it for a while. I may post something on Twitter or whatever, but this is my final comment on the situation for a while. Now, here's the crazy thought. Here's the crazy thing is that something happened on one of his last live streams, and it got me to thinking on a lot of things. Okay, we all know that Corey Goode and David Wilcock, they're doing this BS together, okay? And everybody is basically, here's the thing that I find kind of funny in this whole grand scheme of things. I'm thinking big picture. Mind you, this is my theory, these are my thoughts, but hopefully you can understand where I'm coming from with this. Everybody knows that both of them are con men, they're liars, and whatever. The whole thing about it is that everybody's trying to blame it on Corey Goode. Everybody's trying to blame it on Corey Goode, that Corey Goode came up with this thing a long time ago, and he doesn't know what the hell to do, blah, 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 blah. Okay. All right. So here is my thought process on all of this, okay? On all of this, because we're only thinking about the timeline as it has been presented to us, okay? We are only thinking about it as the timeline that it has been presented to us when Corey Goode was brought into our lives, okay? Everybody is trying to give David Wilcock the benefit of the doubt and thinking that he may be the lost puppy that fell for Corey's bullshit. And what does Corey Goode have on David Wilcock for him to keep doing what he's doing? Nobody's thinking the other way around. And I want you to understand this. Okay, I want you to understand this. What if David Wilcock is the mastermind behind all of this? Seriously. What if it is David Wilcock behind all of this? And I'm going to point out a few things, okay? I'm going to point out a few things and elaborate as much as I can on the few things that I'm pointing out. Okay? Now, granted, and I'm gonna say it like this, granted, it could be Corey Goode. It could be Corey Goode behind all of this. He's the brilliant mastermind. And I laugh at thinking about that. But what if David Wilcock is truly behind all of this? And if you think about this, okay, if you think about this, David Wilcock has been making so-called predictions for as long as anybody can remember. He has been writing books and trying to write music and whatever, and he has been unsuccessful. He has been unsuccessful in those things. He is a guitarist. He is a musician. But he was unsuccessful as that. He has plenty of books, and he himself has admitted he makes no money off of those books. So then all of a sudden, David Wilcock gets into the ufology, spirituality, and ufology field. He gets to go on Ancient Aliens after however many years of doing whatever. He gets a contract with Gaia, has his own show with Gaia, and then all of a sudden, because of emails or whatever, where he vetted Corey Goode, and I use quotation marks when I say vetted, Corey Goode, and next thing you know, Corey Goode is on the scene. Okay, so, and I'm gonna play for you the audio right now of what got me into this, because I've been thinking about this for a while, but this is the piece of audio that sort of confirmed it for me. Okay? And, again, this is my theory. These are my thoughts. These aren't accusations or whatever, and if it's the truth, it's the truth, and the truth will come out. And if it's not, then remember, this is just my theory, whether it's true or not. Okay? And if it's not true, oh well. And if it is true, then at least somebody told you. Okay? So, here's the audio that confirmed it.
This pandemic was started by Corey Goode.
Of course it was.
And we have absolute proof from Jay Weidner.
That might be the hot mic, you never know.
That's okay. This pandemic was started by Corey Goode.
Of course it was.
And we have absolute proof from Jay Weidner.
That might be the hot mic, you never know.
That's okay.
Okay, so you're asking, how in the world did that audio confirm it? Okay? It was, for me, is, now it's crazy how you kind of get these, the light bulb, right? The light bulb, it turns on, and, I've been thinking about this for a while, and I've been listening to the way David Wilcock talks and what have you and everything, and this was kind of the light bulb moment, or some people say the come to Jesus moment, right? All right. Number one, David Wilcock is like a used car salesman. He can easily work a crowd and make himself look good. He brings weak people into his fold until he's exposed or finds no use for them. Okay? Again, David Wilcock is like a used car salesman. He can easily work a crowd and make himself look good. He brings weak people into his fold until he's exposed or he finds no use for them. Example, it would be Pete Peterson. Pete Peterson as a supposed insider. And we already know what's happening with that. And and Pete Peterson's dead, and he's still using Pete Peterson's name. Now, as I mentioned earlier, his so-called quote-unquote vetting, okay, he finds Corey Goode. Now, here's an interesting thing on Corey Goode, and I'll get into a little bit more. Corey Goode, who is desperate for attention after a sad and lonely childhood. In many of his videos, he talks about how Corey Goode was nervous, couldn't speak properly, so he coaches him into what we see and helps him get the sympathy vote. Okay? If you go back to a lot of the earlier videos, which has probably been deleted, but if anybody knows where you can find it, okay? Where he's talking about Corey Goode in these conferences like Conscious Life Expo and Contact in the Desert, when he's introducing Corey Goode to the lecture circuit, okay? He talks about how, you know, he was nervous and he couldn't, you know, on Cosmic Disclosure, I think that's what it is, right? Anyway, how he was talking to him, Corey's on camera, he's nervous, he doesn't know what to do, he's crying or whatever, and they're adding the narrative that it must be because of the 20 and backs and the PTSD. Yeah, it could be PTSD, but not PTSD from a 20 and back. Not PTSD from a MilAb, because of the fact that we know that that isn't true. PTSD from a childhood. And it could have been that Corey Goode was desperate for attention in school. He did anything and everything possible to try to be popular, and he couldn't. He was probably bullied. And he doesn't think very highly of himself. He never did. And if you remember Jay Weidner on his channel talk about how Corey Goode was very aggressive and it looked like he had violent tendencies, that's probably because of being bullied and having to fight. And I know this because I was bullied in school. And I used to be that way. It took me a while to find my own self-confidence where I don't need validation. See, the thing about Corey Goode is that he needs validation from other people. And if somebody draws attention to that validation, then he will do stupid things, which is what we see. Okay? Which is what we see. He needs that validation, so he will do whatever, say whatever, and what have you. So again, he finds Corey Goode, who is desperate for attention after a sad and lonely childhood. Because again, and I repeat, in many of the videos, he talks about how Corey Goode was nervous and couldn't speak properly and blah, blah, blah. And if you notice, he's better at speaking now, to a degree, but that's because he's used to it. If you go back to his earlier lectures, David Wilcock was the one carrying it along. Not because, he was trying to help out a friend, but because, Corey Goode was his moneymaker. And using his PTSD from childhood as an excuse to why that's how he was acting, so he's coaching him, he's speaking up for him at these lectures and whatever, until, and Corey Goode is learning. Slowly, but learning. Corey Goode said that he was taken by the MilAbs in school. Okay. Now here's the thing. There's a bunch of other theories that I have on why he believes that. But I'm not gonna say it because if we know Corey Goode and David Wilcock, they will take that, run with it to get themselves off the hook for certain things, just like with the situation in Doxgate, where they use a certain video that had no proof, contrary to what was being said by C.W. Chanter and Kelly Farmer. Okay? And I have my own opinions on that, but I'll keep that to myself. Anyway, so one of the things was that Corey Goode said he was taken by MilAb. So here's my thing. Going back to the Corey Goode being bullied and what have you. And I tell you this because I've done this myself. I've done this myself when I was being bullied, okay? And that probably through the loneliness, being alone, not being liked in school, being bullied, not getting attention, because every child, from elementary school, middle school, high school, they want to have friends. But there's something about him that people don't like because people are shallow, so they reject him. Trust me, I was one of the rejected ones. I understand it. And through my own loneliness, I imagined being a superhero. Like I'll be in school, and in the middle of class, I will be off saving the world as a Superman or something. Or mainly for me, it was becoming a professional wrestler. But through his loneliness, he probably imagined being taken out of school to be the next Captain America. Right? To be the next Captain America. I mean, he probably liked sci-fi and whatever, sci-fi books and whatever in school. Sci-fi comics, that sort of thing. So he imagined being, and he probably liked Star Trek, so he imagined being an intergalactic ambassador. And that's where a lot of things come up with, that he had that desire, which, if you think about it, will explain the data mining. So whenever he would tell his story, it can sound like something somebody else said. See, he still wants, Corey Goode still wants that validation. So he went data mining, did quote unquote interviews, through email or whatever, and used that to tell his narrative. But he wasn't good. He wasn't good at telling the story. He was always nervous. Mind you, this isn't his story. This is his imagination from being a kid and taking information from other people who claim to have had these experiences. So he's not good at telling the story. So, okay, he emails David Wilcock. David Wilcock, through his supposed vetting, it's like, and he's another one trying to steal stories or whatever. But through his vetting, he's like, oh, wait a minute, there's so then eventually they have after whatever many emails, they have a phone conversation and whatever. Mind you, David Wilcock is good. He's a con artist. He can tell who weak-minded people are just through a conversation. So this is where within the first conversation, David Wilcock, the light bulb came into his head, and he's thinking, I could take advantage of this guy. I could take advantage of this guy. I could take advantage of this guy. Mind you, this is a theory. You know, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But if I'm right, at least I'm putting it out there. Okay? So this is where he starts having more conversations with Corey Goode. Okay? At this time, he was already in Gaia. And he figured he can use Corey Goode and give all these excuses of why he's this way, that way, the other way, blah, blah, blah. Using Corey Goode's true pain and emotion of not being able to tell a lie, not being able to tell a story, of trying to get attention and validation, and you know, and he does everything he can to take advantage of that, to take advantage of Corey. Now here's the thing, I'm not trying to play the sympathy role with Corey Goode, because you know what, he's done a lot of fucked up stuff. He needs to be exposed. He needs to be exposed. Because he's done a lot of fucked up shit. So he needs to be exposed. But this isn't about playing the sympathy role for Corey. This is just explaining why this could all be David Wilcock's grand scheme of things. Okay? If you think about it, Corey Goode is not a smart man. Corey Goode is not a smart man, and we could all agree that he is stupid beyond all compare. And then this goes to point 3. His handling of the so-called legal situation is a joke. He can't shut up on Twitter. He can't shut up on videos. He's talking about it. He's doing this, that, and the other. All of these phony, all of these legal documents or what have you, where he's suing, where he's the one that is suing, right? It looks so freaking stupid. Misspellings, the wrongful use of legal jargon, what have you. And then if you think about this, and again, this is public knowledge, public information, because David Wilcock himself has said it, that his grandfather was an attorney, and if anything, he is also well versed on many things, not just the law, but other stuff. He does have a lot of knowledge. David Wilcock is not stupid. He has a lot of knowledge. A lot of knowledge. He studied a lot of things, obviously, but he's twisting it around to his own narrative. He's stolen many things from Ari Stone. Okay? So he's versed in many things and then twisting it around to his own narrative. He is, in my opinion, he is probably giving bad advice. He's giving, and excuse the wrong placement on the graphic. He's giving Corey Goode bad advice on how to handle it, so Corey Goode looks like an idiot. Again, think about it like this. David Wilcock's grandfather was an attorney. David Wilcock is not stupid. He knows a lot of things. He's not afraid to stand up and defend himself. He's not afraid to whatever, but because everything is hitting on Corey, everybody is attacking Corey Goode because of something that he created. He's gonna throw Corey Goode under the bus. He's well versed on many things. So he is probably giving bad advice to Corey Goode on how to handle it. So Corey Goode looks like an idiot. So Corey Goode is on Twitter doing this, that, and the other. Now again, this is not to play the sympathy card for Corey Goode, because he's doing a lot of stupid things, and if he's not careful, he's going to end up in jail and sued and broke and all that stuff. Okay? It would have been better if Corey Goode would have admitted everything and separated himself from David Wilcock. Point 4. And this goes into where everything came together for me from that audio clip. Since he feels that he has fooled everyone into his way of thinking, there was a slip of the tongue when the mic went live during his banter with whoever that was about Jay Weidner. But since he's a good con man, he plays it off as if it was just banter. Imagine, you're trying to go live and whatever, you're talking and da-da-da, and since Jay Weidner is blaming everything on Corey Goode and has said himself that he has hope for David Wilcock because maybe David Wilcock is being influenced by Corey Goode, David Wilcock is laughing his ass off. And he's like, and they make fun, him and that person, they're making fun of Jay Weidner from that audio clip, But he sees that the mic went live, and he tries to play it up. Oh, well, the mic went live. Oh, it was just banter. But the fact is that he screwed up. It goes to point number 5. Everything points to David Wilcock being unhappy about money and his lack of control at Gaia, that he comes up with the Luciferian agenda narrative and uses Corey Goode as his pawn to burn bridges so he still looks good and innocent. Because everybody is focusing on Corey Goode. Okay? Think about this, right? Corey Goode, comic book. Corey Goode, Above Majestic. Corey Goode created his dimensions of disclosure. And now he's having issues with that. But Corey Goode is not a smart man. Who do you think gave him the idea? Because David Wilcock was going to make a lot of money too out of all this stuff. But when things don't pan out, and since things don't pan out, since he's the one that told Corey Goode do all of this stuff, he's allowing Corey Goode to be thrown under the bus. So that way, at some point in the future, he can still look innocent, like, oh, I didn't know, I didn't really know this is what he was doing. In reality, it was David Wilcock who orchestrated this whole damn thing. It was David Wilcock from the beginning who orchestrated this whole damn thing. He saw Corey Goode, a man who needs validation, who is weak-minded, and use him. Again, this is not about feeling sorry for Corey Goode. This is because Corey Goode needs to pay for what he's done. But David Wilcock is the brain. Corey Goode is the brawn. Because think about Dockscape, everybody's pointing the finger at Corey Goode. But who do you think gave him the idea? See, David Wilcock is a smart man. He knows how to give people an idea, how to give weak people an idea, and they will follow it without actually having to say, do this, that, and the other. David Wilcock is the mastermind. David Wilcock is the one behind all of this. And at some point, he's going to throw Corey Goode under the bus. Again, dude, this is just my theory. And if I'm wrong, I am wrong. I will admit it that I am wrong. But if I am right, at least somebody came out and said it. Alright, this has been ET Contact. I'm Sway. Always remember, take care of yourselves. I love you. Peace.